631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stock, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors, LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC, annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network, LLC.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next-door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your flap. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit tunemin2x.org. That's tunemin2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit tunemin2x.org. That's tunemin2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Broadcasting from coast to coast,
city to city, coast to coast.
It's time for the Ryan Hickey Show on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. If it's happening in sports, it's being talked about right here. And here's your host, Ryan Hickey.
Good Monday morning and welcome into the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. It is the Ryan Hickey Show. We are back here after unfortunately getting snowed out on Thursday. It is good to be back with you right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network airwaves, coming to you as we always do from the gorgeous, the beautiful Big Italy Pizzeria Studios. Whether it's great pizza, hot heroes, and phenomenal dinners, especially with the snow here in the Northeast. Nothing like a nice hot hero or a nice hot pizza. Check out Big Italy Pizzeria in person in Medford, Joe's Pizzeria in Bayshore, or anywhere you are in the globe, in the entire world, at BigItalyPizza.com. So like I said, unfortunately, really upset about missing the show on Thursday. Mother Nature, I was really hoping that this was going to be another storm that was all hype, no substance. Unfortunately, that was not the case. Ended up being stuck in the city where I work overnight. So that's why we had, if you saw on Instagram, we had the Instagram live with Johnny G-String doing our Hickey's Pickies. But that is why there was no show on Thursday. So I apologize, but it is good to be back. We shoveled those driveways. We plowed the roads. We are back here on this Monday after a week 15 in the books. And man, what a week 15 it was. I think the AFC kind of showed their true colors. We'll get to that here in 15 minutes. People, want to always kind of look to who can knock the Chiefs off. Who is the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC? For me, there's no team. I'll explain why at 9:20. 9:40, we finally, after 16 weeks of playing games, after speculation of if the season would even get to this point, after conferences canceled their season, re-established their season, teams are playing 6 games, teams are playing 10 games, COVID protocols, games are canceled left and right, we finally have reached the destination, and we have reached the point where the college football playoff is set. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Really, from my perspective, no real debate. But one thing I did take away, what happened below those 4 teams, that kind of had me really upset about the College Football Playoff Committee and rethinking how we judge, how we get to the point of determining the 4 best teams in college football. I'll explain what I mean. 9:40. Top of the second hour. I can't even say it with a straight face. I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Jets won a football game. I can't believe it. I thought there was no shot in hell they were going to win. Even if they were trying to win, I didn't think it was possible. Adam Gase, his offensive line, the skill positions, the defense, it all was bad. And somehow, not only do they win, they beat one of the best defenses on the road in all the NFL, in the Los Angeles Rams. So now if you're a Jets fan, Trevor Lawrence, well, unless the Jaguars win another game, Trevor is going to Jacksonville. Jets fans, though, let's hit the pause button, step off the ledge. Your future isn't ruined because you won this game. I'll explain what I mean by that. Because Trevor Lawrence wasn't exactly the entire answer to turn this franchise around. So again, top of the second hour. Jets fans, your future is not ruined. There is some hope. I'll explain what I mean. Top of the second hour, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock on the gorgeous West Coast, 10:20 as we always do. Quick hits, hitting on every single game from Week 15 that we don't kind of zoom in on here in the first hour or so. And finally, 10:40 to wrap up the show. Did Carson Wentz already take his final snaps in Philadelphia? As always, I'd love to get you involved. I'd love hearing your thoughts. Facebook, if you're watching on the live stream on Facebook, comment underneath the live stream if you're looking for a place to find the show, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Be a live stream of the Ryan Hickey Show right there. Boom, click on it. You can comment. We'll read those comments at the show. If you're on Twitter, WWSRN_radio, make sure you're following us. You get a notification. Boom, the show is live. You can comment on Periscope. If you're on Periscope, you want to go to the source directly, Worldwide Sports Network on Periscope. So comment on Twitter, comment on Facebook. We'll get your thoughts between now and 11 a.m. Eastern when we get off the air. And anything that happened in Week 15. I do want to start, though, with reacting to the Chiefs-Saints game. By far the best game on paper. By far one of the best games that played out of the Week 15 slate. Chiefs win 32-29. They go to 12-1. Saints now lose. They go to, or 13-1. I apologize. Chiefs are 13-1. Saints are 10-4. I have a takeaway from each. I'd love to get your thoughts again on Worldwide Sports Network on Facebook or WWSRN_radio on Twitter. I have a takeaway from the Chiefs. We'll get to that second. My takeaway from the Saints' perspective is this. Very smart, good thing they ended up rushing Drew Brees back to get into the lineup now. Now, I don't know about you. I'll go back here before we actually go into it. I'll get back earlier in the week. I was shocked that Drew Brees ended up starting this game on Sunday. This time last week, I was sitting here exclaiming and telling the Saints, you got to start Jameis Winston because there's no guarantee that Drew Brees will be healthy to return in time for the playoffs. And obviously, what do we know? Drew Brees returns to play this game. But it seemed to come out of nowhere. All right, let's just not forget. Earlier this week, the Saints put out a report. They said, we're not going to rush Drew Brees back. We're going to make sure he's 100% healthy before he returns to the lineup. Well, guess what? It didn't take a rocket scientist. It didn't take a medical expert to look at Drew Brees returning to the field yesterday and say, you know what? That guy's 100%, because he wasn't. Hell, even after the game, Drew Brees admitted, he was asked a question, Drew, are you 100% healthy? He said no. He's not 100% healthy. So the Saints went back on their word already. They said they wouldn't rush him back. They did. They said they would wait until Drew Brees is 100% to put him back on the field. Well, he's not 100% and he's still back on the field. But I'll say this. It is a damn good thing they did that because guess what? Drew Brees looked rusty as hell. And if they waited any longer, there may not have been enough time to get him back in his groove for the playoffs. Because now that's what this is all about. With that loss, the Packers are 2 games up for the number 1 seed with 2 to play, right? Because the Packers hold the tiebreaker. So the Packers have to lose these last 2 games. Saints have to win these last 2 games if they want to get home field, if they want to get that first round bye. So now as you said here, we're 2 games left before the wild card weekend comes in. Brees needs as many reps. He needs to get as many game action snaps as possible because guess what? You can't just miss 4 games, throw him back in there, not fully healthy, and expect that he will be the Drew Brees of old. He started off yesterday's game 0 for 6 with an interception. Why is that significant? Because this tremendous stat, courtesy of ESPN Stats and Info, says this. That was the first time in Drew Brees' career, and this guy's played 20 years, the first time in Drew Brees' 20-year career that he started a game 0 for 5 passing or worse. Not a coincidence. Started 0 for 6 for the first time in his career. 20 years. He finished the game 15 of 34. Quick math, that's a 44% completion percentage. Guess what that is? The 3rd lowest of Drew Brees' career. So one of the worst starts, the worst start of his career to a game. One of the worst completion percentages he's ever had in a game. And don't look now, there's 2 games left before we get to the playoffs. Now look, this is not all on Drew Brees. They're missing some key wide receivers, right? Michael Thomas is on the IR. They lost Traquan Smith during the game. They're having guys like Juwan Johnson play significant snaps and be a target for Drew Brees. Now, the only reason why I know who Juwan Johnson is because he's a former Penn State football player. Other than that, no clue Juwan Johnson was even in the league, let alone a Saints receiver. So if this is the first time you're hearing of his name, don't freak out. It's not on you. They're pulling out practice squad guys. They're going deep in the reserves because the wide receiving core is banged up. So that's obviously also part of why Drew Brees got off to a slow start. That's part of why Drew Brees threw more completions than he did completions. But it's a good thing that the Saints rushed back Drew Brees because guess what? He's got to get back on track, and he's got to get back on track quick. This is one of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL when the offense is clicking. Like we saw yesterday. I know they gave up 32 points. I know Patrick Mahomes threw for 3 touchdowns. And even the Chiefs ran the ball well. But this defense still played well. You got to consider that a win when you're going against Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense. The way they played yesterday, that is winning football. But at the end of the game, unfortunately, they were gassed. Chiefs dominated time possession. They grinded out that game. And we saw it in the end that they were exhausted in that 4th quarter. So if you're the Saints, if you have Drew Brees looking like this going forward, forget it. Because you're in big trouble. This is Super Bowl or bust for the Saints in Drew Brees' last season. And man, that did not make you feel any better. It did not. Now, like I said, there's still 2 games left to try to get Drew Brees back on track here, but you got to get Michael Thomas healthy. You got to get some of these other receivers healthy. They'll return at the earliest right at the playoffs when they start. Not a good recipe. And for me, if you listen to the show, you know my concern and my doubts about Drew Brees when it comes to the playoffs. Last few years, he's run out of gas. He has struggled in the postseason, and that's when he's been healthy. What's going to happen now if those ribs still aren't fully healed, if he still can't get his groove going by the time the wild card weekend comes? We could have the Vikings going into the Superdome and upsetting the Saints happening again this year, whether it's the Cardinals or another team. Some serious concern. But again, it's a good thing the Saints rushed Drew Brees back because if they waited any longer, they'd be in bigger trouble than they are right now. Still have time. 2 games to try to work Drew Brees back. But man, if they waited any longer, this might have been really ugly when it comes playoff time. Playoff time. Because you got to get Drew Brees back working off the rust. That's my Saints perspective. Chiefs. Again, another game to me where they separated themselves from the rest of the NFL. Another game where I look at the NFL, look at the landscape of the NFL, look at the Super Bowl contenders, I look at teams, can they give the Chiefs a run? Can they really compete, whether it's in the playoffs, whether if you're in NFC meeting them in the Super Bowl? Just another game to me why it's the Chiefs and everybody else. Because even when Mahomes isn't particularly sharp, and I think it's fair to say he wasn't totally sharp yesterday, he wasn't playing his best football. I mean, he made some gorgeous throws as always, right? The throw to the Mecole Hardman in the back of the end zone. It looked like he was throwing the ball away. I thought he was just throwing the ball away, living to see another down. And said he puts in the only spot his receiver can get it in the back corner of the end zone for a touchdown. He will still make those plays even on an off day. But he missed a few receivers. You know, the line wasn't protecting him. The Saints pass rush got to Patrick Mahomes a little bit. But even when things aren't totally clicking on offense and you're going against a very good team in the Saints on the road, they still win. And they showed how they can win in multiple ways, which is very important when it comes to the playoffs. So like I said, Mahomes threw 3 touchdowns. The stats still look pretty, but again, it wasn't a game he took over, he dominated like in previous games. But what happened? The run game stepped up. The run game was very solid and really, again, helped the offense go forward when the passing game wasn't on point. 179 rushing yards the Chiefs racked up yesterday, second highest total of the season. So when they needed to run the ball, when they needed, at times, the running game to kind of get the offense going, they did it. Just shows you how multiple they are, and they can beat you in so many different ways. Now, obviously, you hope Clyde Edwards-Helaire can get healthy. He's going to miss the rest of the regular season. The hope is that he can come back for the playoffs at some point and be a factor. Obviously, the Chiefs' run game takes a massive hit, and the offense in general takes a hit if he's out. But here's another reason, here's another example of why just, to me, the Chiefs separate themselves from everybody else. They are the best closing team in the NFL, and it's not even close. No one closes the games out quite like the Chiefs. And yesterday was the perfect example. Saints score a touchdown, 3 minutes left, 2 timeouts. How many times are our own teams in this situation? 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. The other team has timeouts, so you got to get a first down or you're going to punt and they're going to get the ball back with a chance to either tie the game, win the game, depending on what the situation is. A lot of times, teams will play conservative, run the ball 3 times, try not to fumble, keep the clock running, force teams to burn their timeouts, and usually end with punting the ball back to their team and they get a chance with however much time is left in the game, like I said, to either tie the game, win the game, whatever the situation is. But not the Chiefs. They've been in this situation 4 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago. Defense is trying to force them to punt, and they can't do it. Chiefs close it out. They get a first down. They get, depending on the situation, 2 or 3 first downs to kill the clock and end the game. And it's Andy Reid's aggressiveness. It's the skill that he's working with, the trust in Patrick Mahomes, all these weapons that it's so hard to contain all of them at once. That all combines to be almost an impossible task to get this team off the field and try to give your offense one more opportunity. Seriously, I've never seen a team close with almost a certainty and an easiness that the Chiefs do. It's impressive, and guess what? That comes up huge in the playoffs. When you don't even give another team a chance to win the game, when you close it out with your offense, you're going to win a lot of games. And to me, again, that's just another example of why it's the Chiefs and everybody else. So I'm curious your thoughts watching that game. From a Saints perspective, how concerned are you with Drew Brees' return? Is it good that they rushed him back? First game after missing 4, okay, you expect some rust. Are you at least happy that, all right, there's still 2 more games. You feel confident that by the time the playoffs come, Drew Brees will be better? Or is there some real concern here going forward to New Orleans? They might be the 2 seed still, but man, that they are primed for an upset for whoever is the 7 seed playing them in the first round of the playoffs. And for the Chiefs, is there any team, honestly, in the NFL, NFC or AFC, that you could see competing with them, beating with them? Now, the Chiefs have played some close games of late, but they've won them in all different ways. To me, again, I take that more as a positive than a negative. They win close games. They know how to win games, and they could do it in many different ways. I take it as a positive, like I said. To me, Chiefs and everybody else. Can anyone hang with the Chiefs? So again, I'm curious your thoughts. Facebook, Worldwide Sports Network. Comment under the live stream. Twitter, WWSRN_radio. Comment right there on the Periscope, or if you want to tweet us at WWSRN_radio, tweet me directly at Ryan Hickey Show. So when we come back, speaking of the Chiefs, I just told you it's the Chiefs and everybody else. Let's look at the playoff picture specifically in the AFC. There's one team that people are kind of circling and saying, hey, they're going to give the Chiefs a run for their money. For me, there is no one team that could beat the Chiefs. There's no one team that's the biggest threat to the Chiefs. And I'll explain why next. It is the Ryan Hickey Show right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Hi, I'd like to report a bear hug.
Uh-huh, okay.
Well, we were building a bonfire, and I saw some, dry brush and leaves around, so, I said to move the bonfire somewhere else, and out of nowhere, Smokey Bear shows up and hugs me.
So you noticed some wildfire hazards and moved your bonfire to a safer location.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Smokey, all right. He likes it when people help prevent wildfires. It hits him close to home. Not everybody gets the hug, my friend. So that's pretty special to get a hug from Smokey Bear.
So it was him. Hey, guys, I told you it was Smokey.
Okay, well, congratulations, my friend. And thanks for calling. There are many ways to prevent a wildfire. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service, Ad Council, and your state forester.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. Waking up every day, lifting him from the bed to the wheelchair to the car to get him to therapy on time, it's no small task between the doctors and the diagnosis, but nothing can disable this love. This is my big brother, my hero. He's part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. See, there's no time for tired. This starts again tomorrow. He'll be waiting for me. I wake up for him. I know he needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community, or call 877-333-5885. Caregiving Resource Center. Support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do. Oh, tell the world I see. With an emoji. To stop the bullies.
Know someone who's being bullied online? Send the witness emoji. It looks like an eye in a speech bubble, and it's in the symbol section near the clocks in your phone. You'll let the world know it isn't cool, and you'll let your friend know you care. Learn more about the witness emoji at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape? You mean the one in my mouth?
You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome back to the Ryan Hickey Show, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back into the Worldwide Sports Radio. It is the Ryan Hickey Show. We are back here on this snowy Monday. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you had an enjoyable weekend to roll on to the Christmas time. A belated Happy Hanukkah. I apologize I didn't say that last week. So belated Happy Hanukkah, those that celebrate. A Merry Christmas to those that are celebrating this week. And really, honestly, a Happy New Year to us all. We are getting there. We are just about, 10 days from heading into 2021. And man, that can't be any better news. We can't quite possibly be any worse in 2021 than 2020 was. So hope is turning the corner. And we are hopefully to brighten up your Monday and bring a little more hope as we go along this Monday morning. We're talking about reacting to the Chiefs-Saints game from yesterday. Chiefs win, go to 13-1 on the season. Woo. To me, they showed yesterday why they remain head and shoulders above every other team in the NFL. And for the Saints' perspective, it was ugly from Drew Brees, but I'll say this. He's not 100% healthy. It is a damn good thing they rushed Drew Brees back. If they waited, if they truly stuck to their word, and don't forget, they said earlier last week, they are not going to rush Drew Brees back. They're going to make sure he's 100% healthy before returning to the field. Well, you watched Drew Brees yesterday. You could tell he's not 100%. He's not 100% healthy. You listened to him in the post-game press conference. He was asked directly, Drew, are you 100% healthy? You know what he said? No. He said, I'm getting there, but I'm not 100% healthy. So the Saints lied about that. And it's a good thing they did because, man, they need as much time as possible. They need as many reps as possible for Drew Brees to knock the rust off and get back in his groove. Now, the Saints wide receivers are banged up. That's also, part of the reason why he struggled. But according to ESPN Stats and Info, first time in Drew Brees' career, he started a game 0 for 5 on passing attempts or worse. He's played 20 years. Think about that. His completion percentage was 44%, 15 to 34, third lowest of his career. He needs to turn it around and turn it around quickly. The more games, the better. So it's a good thing the Saints did not wait any longer because they need a lot of help. They want to get the ship turned around and be a real playoff threat. Before we get into the AFC landscape, I just want to give you some breaking news. The Carolina Panthers this morning have just announced they fired their GM, Marty Hurney. That's a little surprising considering the way Matt Rule's building this team. They pushed the Packers to the brink on Saturday night. That was a great game. Lost by a touchdown in Lambeau. They played really well. But now that's another GM opening. The fifth general manager opening in the NFL. And this is only the beginning of the second wave, if you will, of openings. Earlier this year, we had Bill O'Brien fired. You had the Jaguars firing their GM, Dave Caldwell. Dan Quinn was fired from the Falcons. So you had some openings early. Matt Patricia was fired. So you had 3 head coach openings plus a GM opening. Now, in this second wave, as we get towards the end of the season with only 2 games left, you're going to see that second wave of firings come. The Panthers just started by firing their general manager, Marty Hurney. So we'll touch on that breaking news a little bit later on. But also, like I said, I do want to kind of talk about the landscape of the AFC. Because, really, we always look now when it comes to the playoffs, right, because we're 2 weeks away, who could be a real playoff threat? In the AFC, like I just said, it's the Chiefs and everyone else. So that is the team everyone in the AFC is chasing. The Chiefs. Who is the biggest threat to the Chiefs? Which team has the right quarterback, has the defense, has the run game, has the ability to go into Arrowhead and knock them off, preventing them from going to a second straight Super Bowl? Currently, right now, the Bills are that team, right? They are the pick. They're the hottest team by far, really, of almost anyone in the NFL. They are playing very good right now. But here's why I don't feel comfortable in putting that title on the Bills of the biggest threat to the Chiefs. Because honestly, when you look at from 2 to really 8 in terms of playoff seeding, there's no guarantee in my mind that the Bills will meet the Chiefs in the playoffs. Now, to me, in order to be a big threat to the Chiefs, you got to be able to make it to play the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to be there. But when I look at the landscape of the rest of the playoff seedings, I don't think it's guaranteed that the Bills would meet the Chiefs in probably the AFC title game, depending on how the seedings go now. Because this is wide open. Well, let's look, right? So the Chiefs, again, they're out of this conversation right now. We're looking at everyone else who could be a legitimate threat to the Chiefs. Right now, in the 2 seed, the Steelers, they're 11-2. They play tonight. Should win, those should be going to 12-2. Bills, again, they are hot. They are one Hail Murray away from winning 8 games in a row. They're 11-3, currently holding the 3 seed. Titans, based on the tiebreaker, hold the AFC crown. They are number 4 at 10-4. Browns, first wild card spot, 10-4. Colts, second wild card spot, but again, close right there, running mate with the Titans. They both have the same record, but again, the Titans have the tiebreaker. But right now, because of that, the Colts are in the 6th playoff seed, second wild card, also at 10-4. Dolphins currently hold the final playoff spot at 9-5. Right on their heels is the Ravens, also at 9-5. Because I'm putting the Ravens in here as well, even though technically right now they're on the outside looking in. So Steelers, Bills, Titans, Browns, Colts, Dolphins, Ravens. When I read those 7 teams out to you, is there one team in your mind that can't win a playoff game? Just win a playoff game. Not make a run, not be a threat, just win a playoff game. That's it. Because I read those teams, I don't see one team that I just rattled off. Steelers, Bills, Titans, Browns, Colts, Dolphins, Ravens. I don't see a team that can't win a playoff game. I'll give you my reasoning for every team right now. Steelers. They are struggling, right? Losers of 2 in a row. They still have a ton of veteran leadership who, more importantly, have been in the playoffs, know how to win in the playoffs. So going to Heinz Field is not going to be an easy trick. Sure, again, the offense is sputtering right now, but there is so much veteran leadership, so much experience on that team that they know what it takes to win in the playoffs. I trust that, you know what? That experience will at least get them a win. I think they can get a win at home. The Bills, like I just said, they are one Hail Murray away from being winners of 8 in a row. Since that loss, Josh Allen has been on fire. 286 passing yards per game he's averaging. He has 19 total touchdowns to 8 turnovers. He's playing one of the best quarterbacks right now in the NFL. Bills are hot. They can win a playoff game. The Titans. Speaking of getting hot, Derrick Henry is heating up, and we know what the formula is for Tennessee. Run the ball, wear the defense is down. That opens up the pass game for Ryan Tannehill and this Tennessee offense in the second half. In the last 5 games, Derrick Henry is hot, averaging 146 rushing yards per game. He has 10 touchdowns in those 5 games. He is the key to the offense so far. He is rolling right now for Tennessee. How about the Browns? And they are finding their perfect offensive balance. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, they are running the ball great. That offensive line is moving people. The running game is successful. And what is that doing? Speaking of play action, right? We just saw that with Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. Baker Mayfield has been super successful this year with play action. He's playing confidently. He's, more importantly, taking care of the football. And that's leading to this Browns offense having a lot of success. They can win a playoff game. Colts, see the Browns. Because honestly, the game plan for the Colts is the same exact it is in Cleveland. Run the ball, establish run. They have a great offensive line that can clear the way. Jonathan Taylor really starting to find his legs. He is being very consistent. Honestly, especially watching, being a Colts fan, I watch the Colts a lot. Jonathan Taylor really now consistently is starting to make the first man miss, which is huge for him. And Phillip Rivers, I'll be honest, I was a hater of the signing, a big doubter of Phillip Rivers. I still don't think he can win a Super Bowl or even, beat the Chiefs. But he's been better than I could have ever imagined. The big knock with Phil is his turnovers, especially his interceptions. Well, he has just 2 interceptions the last 6 games. So yeah, if they continue to run the ball the way they are, Phillip Rivers continues to not only make some great passes, but also not turn the ball over. I can see the Colts going to Heinz Field. I can see the Colts going to Buffalo, going to Tennessee, and winning a game. I do. How about the Dolphins? Right, holding on to that 7th and final playoff spot. Why do I have faith in the Dolphins? Because they are a turnover-causing machine. That gives the offense extra opportunities, and as we know, turnovers can play a huge factor in these playoff games. Listen to this stat. Yesterday was the 20th game in a row. 20th game in a row that the Dolphins forced a turnover on defense. 20 straight games they have forced a turnover. They entered Week 15 tied for the second most turnovers in the NFL. I'm sorry, scratch that. They entered Week 15 tied for the most forced turnovers in the NFL with 25. And they're second in all the NFL. They're a plus 10 turnover differential. So guess what? That bodes well. Give your offense extra opportunities. Give your offense a short field. And more importantly, put teams like Pittsburgh, put teams like Buffalo, Tennessee on the sideline with their offense. So yeah, Dolphins force turnovers. I think they can win a playoff game. And finally, like I said, the Ravens currently on the outside looking in, but they are hotter than anyone right now of late. During their 3-game winning streak, right? They beat the Cowboys, they beat the Browns, and yesterday they smoked the Jaguars. During those 3-game winning streaks, they're averaging 40.3 points per game, 10 total touchdowns for Lamar Jackson during that time. So yeah, the Ravens are quickly, if they can make the playoffs, if they can overtake the Dolphins, get that 7th seed, if they're going into Pittsburgh, whew, that is, you're going to have your hands full if you're the Steelers. So going through those teams, right, 2 to 8 right now, all those teams I just listed, I can easily see winning a game on the road. Or winning a game in the playoffs, I should say, depending on which team you're looking at. So yeah, while right now the Bills are the team that everyone's pointing to being the best or the biggest threat to the Chiefs, I could easily see a team like the Ravens, the Colts, the Browns, going into Buffalo and winning. It's not a knock on Buffalo. It's right now, I think, a compliment to the AFC, just how deep this conference is. I mean, think about it. You're going to have the Dolphins, assuming that they lose. I think they play Buffalo actually this week. If they split their games, right, they play Buffalo and then finish with the Jets. There's a chance the Dolphins at 10-6 could miss the playoffs. Miss it. Despite having an extra team in the playoffs this year. 10-6 might not be good enough to make the playoffs if you're a Miami Dolphins fan. So yeah, the AFC is very deep. And it is, outside of the Chiefs, very wide open. So that's why, to me, I can't sit here and tell you in good faith and good conscience that the Bills are the biggest threat to the Chiefs, because I can't even ensure, I can't guarantee that the Bills will be sitting there on championship weekend playing the Chiefs, matching up in that AFC title game. I can't. Last year, the Titans came out of nowhere, beat the Patriots, shocked the Ravens. Right? We all thought it was going to be a Ravens-Chiefs AFC title game. I think it could be something like that again this year. Not Titans-Chiefs specifically, but a wild card team making a run and pulling a few upsets, because that's how deep this conference is. So that's why I say it's the Chiefs and everybody else. Chiefs have control. Everything below them, complete wild card. So I'm curious your thoughts. I mean, again, I laid out and made a case for every team 2 to 8 of why they can win a playoff game. With that said, is there one team in your mind that has the best chance to knock off the Chiefs? I can't point to one. I am not going to point to one. I'm not trying to cop out of an answer. I have no problem stating my opinion. I have no problem being wrong. Trust me, you listen to this show, I am wrong more times than I'm right. Actually, way more times am I wrong than I'm right. I can count the number of times I'm right on one hand, probably. So I have no problem stating my opinion and embracing the fact that I'm wrong about it. But I can't point to one team being the biggest threat to the Chiefs, because I can't guarantee that any team that's not Kansas City will be facing them on conference championship weekend, because it is wide open. And maybe outside of the Dolphins, honestly, because they are still banged up, and with a rookie quarterback, it's a tall task to win 2 playoff games in a row, both of them being on the road. But with that said, I can easily see any one of these other teams making a run, winning a game, maybe even winning 2 games and seeing the Chiefs. Titans did it last year. We'll see who does it this year. But again, I'm curious your thoughts. If you have a stronger conviction of one team more than me, if you are a believer in the Bills, maybe it's the Titans again. The Browns are playing some great football. The Steelers, maybe you still believe the Steelers, screw it, they lost 2 games in a row, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon. They still have what it takes to win a game or 2 at home and face the Chiefs in the AFC title game. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you have a strong feeling about a team, let me know on Facebook, Worldwide Sports Network, Twitter, WWSRN_radio, or you can tweet me directly at Ryan Hickey Show. Who in the AFC has the best chance to knock off the Chiefs? We'll get your thoughts next. And when we come back, pretentiousness is ruining the sport of college football. I'll explain what I mean next. It is the Ryan Hickey Show right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com, or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome back to the Ryan Hickey Show, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back into the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, the Ryan Hickey Show with you on this Monday morning until 11 a.m. Eastern. A winter solstice edition of the Ryan Hickey Show. And great news, right? We're trying to be positive here. Last break, we came back saying we're 10 days away from the worst year, maybe in history, but definitely the worst year of all of our lifetimes. No matter really when you were born, unless you're born in pre-Great Depression, I guess. The worst year is 10 days away from ending. So 2021 is on the horizon, and good things are looking up right now in 2021. But also, with today being the winter solstice, it is the shortest day of the year. Which, what does that mean? Starting tomorrow, the days get longer, the sun is out, and all of a sudden now getting dark at almost 3:30, it feels like, is a thing of the past. So we are climbing. We are slowly climbing out of this abyss, slowly climbing out of the black hole. And good times are ahead. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and good news. It's not a train light. It's not an oncoming train. I think I butchered that. It's not an oncoming train. Yeah, I hope. Oh, God, I apologize. All the good karma we just had was just ruined right there. Anyway, we'll try to stop making some analogies that just don't make much sense. I apologize. But instead, we'll stick to sports, which is what we know. We're talking about the AFC. Can any team in your mind in the AFC beat the Chiefs? Who, I should say, has the best chance to beat the Chiefs in the AFC? To me, I can't pick a team. Not because I'm scared to, not because I'm afraid to share my opinion to be wrong. I'm wrong more times than I'm right. Way, way, way more times than I'm right. But I can't confidently, definitively pick one team, point to them, and say they're the biggest threat to the Chiefs. Not because I think the Chiefs are going to win, because I do. But because I can't trust any other team in the AFC to get to the point where they play the Chiefs, right? In order to beat the Chiefs, You have to play the Chiefs. You have to win your playoff games in order to face the Chiefs, whether it's in the divisional round or the AFC title game. I can't point to one team and definitively say they will meet the Chiefs in the AFC title game. The Bills are the flavor of the month for sure. Right? There's no doubting that. But at the same time, I can't sit here and say, you know what, I think the Bills are going to be in the AFC Conference Championship game. I can't. Because I just mentioned, I like teams like the Browns, the Colts, the Ravens, the Dolphins. I think any of them can win a playoff game, which would mean Buffalo, if you host one of these teams, I think there's a chance you could lose. So yeah, I'm getting your thoughts. Facebook, Worldwide Sports and Eric, comment on the live stream. Twitter, WWSRN_radio. Tweet us there. Tweet me directly at Ryan Hickey Show. At Ryan Hickey Show, all one word. Or comment on the Periscope that is through the live stream, and we'll get your thoughts. But I do want to quickly kind of discuss pretentiousness. I want to discuss the college football playoff. And yes, to me, I have no argument with the top four. I think it's actually a pretty simple year despite everything that's kind of happened. But my frustration with the college football playoff and how things were decided comes from what happened below the top four teams. So I understand, I know, with the playoff implemented, all anyone and everyone cares about is making the top four. That's fair. Totally fair. And I agree, as a Penn State alum, the goal every year is to make the playoff. So I'm not saying, the goal is to get to a nice bowl game like the Outback Bowl or the Gator Bowl, and we'll consider that a good year. No. But the way we have looked and treated the college football playoff and how teams are selected is my big gripe. Not the playoff itself, because it is far better than the computers. But the system is broken, in part, because implicit bias between respective programs and everybody else, and this was no better displayed than this year's college football playoff committee. Because the committee's goal, right, you have 13 members, all different interconnected ways that they are a part of college football, different backgrounds, different mindsets, different philosophies of what makes a good team, right? So it's good to have differing points of view. Their goal, the 13 members, is to determine the order and really determine the top four teams in the country based upon what? Results and the eye test, right? Does their team win their games? How do they look when they win their games? That's the one thing the computer could never kind of take into account. Team can go undefeated, but if they lose or if they win every game, they're playing close games against bad teams, you get knocked for that. So the premise of the committee is correct. The issue is they've, especially this year, lazily relied on conference reputations, on team reputations, instead of really looking at the teams year in and year out and having everyone on a clean slate. They are moving the goalposts based on what your team is and what conference you play in. And that's hurting the sport. That is not helping the sport at all. It is hurting it. And this year, by far, was the most egregious example. By far. So like I said, this is not even about the top four. Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. To me, there's no argument. Texas A&M did not belong in there. I thought heading into conference championship weekend, the top four that was there would be the top four. It's in a different order. It is. There you go. But here's why it's important, though, going forward, to also look at the teams below the top four. Because guess what? Sure, it didn't happen this year. Sure, it maybe didn't happen to your team. But as these implicit biases stick around in college football, as certain conferences and teams get favoritism because of their brand name, because of what conference they play in, or their history, your team one day could be on the other side and getting screwed over a chance to play for a championship or getting some respect. So here's what I mean by this. So, like I said, top four is set. Texas A&M was number 5. Oklahoma was number 6 in the college football playoff rankings. They had 2 losses. They've been playing better of late. They had those 2 losses earlier in the year. They were 1-2. They won every game after that. They won the Big 12. They had 2 losses. At number 7, the Florida Gators. 3 losses on the season. They've lost their last 2 games. Think about this. Florida has lost 2 games in a row. They've dropped a combined 1 spot in the rankings. They lost at home to a talent-depleted, opt-out-filled LSU game in the last game of the regular season at home. Florida was a 23-point favorite in that game. They lost. They didn't win close. They didn't squeak by. They lost. And they dropped a full 1 spot. That's unacceptable. So now sitting here, the regular season is over. The committee believes that a 3-loss Florida team 3 losses is still one of the best in the country. Why is that egregious? Because right behind them at number 8, Cincinnati. 9-0. They won their conference. They're in the AAC. They have a ranked win over Tulsa. They took care of business. They won their conference. They're undefeated. They have a ranked win. They're still behind a 2-loss team and a 3-loss team. Don't worry, it gets worse. At number 10, Iowa State. 8-3 in the year. 3 losses. Now they have 2 wins over ranked opponents. They also have a 17-point loss to Louisiana. Not LSU. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, the first game of the year. They lost by 17 at home. They didn't lose on a walk-off field goal. They lost by 17. They were thoroughly dominated by Louisiana. But despite that, despite the 3 losses, they are at number 10. Why is that significant? Because at number 11, one spot below Iowa State, is Coastal Carolina. America's darling, right? We all remember, if you watch that game, if you're a college football fan, you watch them play BYU. You watch them beat BYU on 48 hours notice. Well, Coastal Carolina is 11-0 on the season. They are co-Sun Belt champions because their game against Louisiana, they were playing Louisiana, who beat Iowa State. That game was postponed because of COVID-related issues, so they're co-Sun Belt champions. So they won their conference. They have Coastal Carolina 2 wins over ranked opponents, including a win over Louisiana. They played them earlier this year. So they beat the team that beat Iowa State. Coastal Carolina has the same amount of wins over ranked opponents as Iowa State. They have 3 less losses. They are undefeated. They are 11-0. Despite all of that, Iowa State is still ranked ahead of Coastal Carolina. So if you are not in a Power 5 conference, if you don't have a brand name, you have 0 shot. You are at the kids' table no matter what. You could be 30 years old. When Thanksgiving comes around, you are at the kids' table. It's the uncles and the aunts, right? All the adults at one table. You could be 30. You're still at the kids' table. If you're a Coastal Carolina, if you're a Cincinnati, it's ridiculous and egregious. So now I just listed off some of the most absurd rankings that could possibly happen. This is also significant because now these bigger bowl games, right? The Fiesta Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, these cool bowl games that we watch on New Year's Day and New Year's Eve, they go by rankings. So you're going to have a 3-loss Florida team, a 3-loss Iowa State team, and a 3-loss North Carolina team, all in New Year's 6 bowl games, all having 3 losses, while a team like Coastal Carolina, was 11-0, is going to the Cure Bowl. Who gives a crap about the Cure Bowl? So it's like, no matter what you do, you don't have a shot. And this is, I apologize, I wanted to lay out what the college football landscape is like in the rankings for this reason. This has really fired me up this year, and especially yesterday. There is a certain complex, there is a certain pretentiousness that comes with the college football playoff that is ruining the sport. And that also is not there for the NFL. It's so frustrating, it's actually disgusting. There's this sacredness, there's this purity that has to remain with only putting the best teams in the college football playoff, or the entire season is a sham that exists only in college football. For example, I was talking to one of my good friends yesterday after the rankings came out. He works in he's in sports media. He works actually in college football. I was texting him yesterday. He texted me, this is a direct quote. Group of 5 teams, which is teams like Cincinnati, teams like Coastal Carolina, don't deserve to be in the playoff even with an expansion. They never play the same strength of schedule as Power 5 teams. Despite what I just listed, Coastal Carolina, same amount of wins as over ranked opponents as Iowa State. They beat one of the teams that Iowa State lost to. Cincinnati, a win over ranked opponent. They won their conference. Despite that doesn't matter because a 3-loss Florida team who had one of the worst losses of the year. No hyperbole. Had one of the worst losses of the year to LSU. Is still right ahead of them. So despite that, the requirements for these smaller teams to be up there at the big boys table, despite them making the argument that, hey, I deserve to be at the big kids table. I don't deserve to be at the little kids table this year. Guess what? They say, go back. You don't, please. Go back to the kids table, right? Go draw on the table. Go color inside the lines. So it just frustrates me to no end when we are already, before a season even starts, counting out half the teams in college football. Like, what are we doing here? And it goes back to the fear of letting quote-unquote lesser teams have a shot to play the big boys because, for whatever reason, the committee, the college football playoff committee deems that they're not worthy enough. For whatever reason, again, the requirements could be there. You could say, hey, group of 5 teams. Your conference is a little less challenging. There's less better teams. So you got to, play 2 or 3 ranked teams. You got to win them. You got to win your conference, maybe go undefeated. And when you're doing that, you still, you know what? This happened, that happened. You're really not that good. So we're just going to give you a hand wave and you say, yeah, you're still not that good. We're going to put teams with more losses that have looked bad above you just because, you know what? Teams like Florida, we know they're good, Florida has that cachet. Teams like Iowa State, well, they play in the Big 12. They deserve that. They play a quote-unquote tougher schedule. So it's so stupid, and honestly, it's ruining the sport. Because guess what? You look at the NFL. There is not the same sacredness about who makes the playoffs in the NFL than it does in college football. As you said here, we're going to have probably the Washington football team win the NFC East, right? The Giants have a chance, but probably the Washington football team will win the NFC East. Will forget making the playoffs, host a playoff game. Absolute best. If they win out, they'll be 8-8. That is the absolute best record that they can have. Maybe you drop 1 or 2. They could be 7-9 or hell, even 6-10. You will have potentially a 6-10 football team hosting a playoff game. But where is all the NFL media? Where are all the NFL fans screaming that the NFL playoffs are a sham? They're fraudulent because a 6-10 team potentially is hosting a playoff game. We had the 7-9 Seahawks a few years ago, back over, I think 2011. Host the 11-5 Saints, and the Saints lost that game in Seattle. No one that year was screaming that the playoffs are a fraud. No one's putting an asterisk on that Super Bowl champion because an under 500 team hosted a playoff game. So why are we doing it in college football? Why is there this sacredness, this quote-unquote fear that, man, we cannot allow any team that's not worthy, any team that isn't one of the top 4 in the playoff? I'm not advocating that one of these teams like Cincinnati or Coastal Carolina should be in the playoff this year. What I'm frustrated by is that we view them so disrespectfully, we just kind of write them off already, that we give the benefit of the doubt that teams that have a illustrious history, teams like Florida, teams like Iowa State because they play in a Power 5 conference, we give them the benefit of the doubt just because of the name, because of the conference brand. Like, would it really be the worst thing in the world? Would the world end? Would college football itself collapse if this elitist mentality was shed? And instead, Cincinnati did play for the playoff. Coastal Carolina did play for the playoff. BYU played in the playoff. Is it really that bad, like that big of a deal? It's absurd. Well, let's use this year as a perfect example. No matter who that 4 team is, they're going to get smoked. Notre Dame has it, and to me, again, I think they deserve to have it. But let's be honest here. Notre Dame's going to get crushed. No one's beating Alabama. So what does it matter if it's Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Cincinnati, Coastal Carolina? No one's winning. But, okay, Notre Dame, it's okay. Texas A&M, okay, it's okay. But God forbid you put a team like Cincinnati in there, all of a sudden the whole college football playoff is illegitimate. So now that props up teams like Georgia, another 2-loss team in the top 10, like Florida, a 3-loss team, Oklahoma, a 2-loss team. They all benefit just because of their reputation and reputation alone. Not with what they did this year, because of their brand name. And guess what this does? This basically eliminates games mattering. The big argument against expanding the college football playoff was that, you know what, it would water down the regular season. If you go to 8, which to me, 8 is a perfect number. But if you expand the playoff, all of a sudden games don't matter as much anymore. The intensity which the college football still has, it's really the only sport where the regular season truly matters. It is truly intense week in and week out. But if you expand it to 8, all of a sudden that goes by the wayside, and all of a sudden the regular season doesn't matter as much. What we're seeing in the playoff right now, as the committee selects their members, that games don't matter. The regular season is almost pointless because guess what? Coastal Carolina can beat BYU. Coastal Carolina can beat Louisiana, who beat Iowa State, giving one of Iowa State's 3 losses on the year. And Coastal Carolina, despite winning their conference, despite going 11-0, despite winning the same amount of ranked games that Iowa State did, they'll still be behind a 3-loss Iowa State team. Florida, despite the fact they lost as 23-point favorites at home to LSU, they dropped 1 slot in the rankings. Why? Because of the committee's mind, they are still quote-unquote better because of the reputation that they have, and they aren't watching the games or, frankly, aren't caring about the games. So now we're looking at a irrelevant college football regular season. That's what's coming about. That is all because of the committee not caring about results or not punishing teams for losing and rewarding teams for winning, which is not right. So yeah, I really hope expanding the playoff to 8 teams helps us shed this elitist mentality, this pretentiousness that comes with the college football playoff, because God forbid we allow a team that isn't truly one of the 4 best in the playoff. Which, guess what? If that's the case, if we are going by the 4 best for the college football playoff instead of maybe the 4 most deserving or seeing how the season plays out, might as well put the college football playoff, put the 4 teams in before the season starts. Look at the recruiting rankings, look at the coaching staff, and put your 4 in. Because that's what it's been the last few years. And outside of the college football playoff, the top 4, that's what it's been for the rankings below them. So this implicit bias that, for whatever reason, is really starting to infest college football is ruining the sport. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. That is just my true feelings, because actually you can hopefully hear the passion in my voice. College football, by far and away, is my favorite sport out of anything. I love it. I live and breathe these 3-4 months where just zaniness and wackiness happens. But it is getting frustrating when you're watching teams play good, when you're watching good teams play bad, not get punished by it, and instead, again, you are just leaning on conference and team reputation instead of taking it every year. Teams get a clean slate, which is how it should be. That's the reason why the committee is here. Watch the games, make your judgments based on how the team is playing in that specific year. And that's not happening. That is not happening. So I apologize for yelling. It's just so frustrating when you just see the way teams are evaluated. And it outright is so easy to see the bias and the favoritism that certain teams and conferences get. Despite the fact that the results don't match that, and they still get rewarded for it. So again, I have no problem with the top 4 this year. And this really has nothing to do with the college football playoff for those teams in the playoff this year. But guess what? If you're a team that isn't Georgia, that isn't Florida, that isn't Oklahoma, one of those perennial powerhouses that get the benefit of the doubt every single year. If you're a team, if you're a fan of a group of 5 team, guess what? You might as well not even look forward to the playoff. You might as well honestly make your own playoff. And if you don't have that cachet, that national relevance that some of these blue blood teams have, you're not making the playoff. I'm sorry. You're not. And that's not the way college football should be. It's really not. So if you have a comment on that, I'd love to get it. Worldwide Sports Network on Facebook, Twitter, WWSRN_radio. Add Ryan Hickey Show also on Twitter. When we come back, Jets fans, speaking of the passion I just had, Twitter was wild yesterday as the Jets won their first game of the year. They did the improbable. I have good news. I know you think the sky is ending, or the world is ending, and the sky is falling. Jeez, I really nailed that one. I have some good news. Your future Despite winning yesterday and moving out of the number 1 pick to get Trevor Lawrence, the future is not ruined. I'll explain what I mean next. It is the Ryan Hickey Show right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes?
How could he do this to you? And for Sheila, she has split ends.
B, console her.
Oh, sweetie, this is going to happen a lot. 4, maybe 5 more times before you get married.
C, take charge.
Got to get this all straightened out. Give a little talking to, man to man, mano a mano. Hey, Steve. Is now a good time? No? Okay, no problem. Bye.
Or D, help her find a new boyfriend.
I know a great place to meet boys. The internet. Nice, single boys. Never mind. How about some ice cream?
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome back to the Ryan Hickey Show, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hour number 2 of the Ryan Hickey Show, right with you on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, coming to you as you always do from the Big Italy Pizzeria Studios, where it's great pizza, hot heroes, and phenomenal dinners. Check out Big Italy Pizzeria in person in Medford, Joe's Pizzeria in Bayshore, or online anywhere at BigItalyPizza.com. Jets fans, first of all, I am sorry. To be honest, to come that far, losing 13 games in a row, 3 games away from getting the number 1 pick, getting Trevor Lawrence, and hoping that your franchise can turn around. To get that close and have your team blow it the way they did, win a game, and now if the Jaguars don't win another game these last 2 games, the Jacksonville Jaguars will come out of nowhere and get Trevor Lawrence with the number 1 overall pick. How bad was it for Jets fans? I want to read you this tweet by one of the guys I work with, because I still am laughing to this day. If you're outside of the New York area, not a Jets fan, wasn't on Twitter yesterday, and you couldn't see the reaction of the Jets avoiding becoming the 3rd winless team in the history of the 16-game schedule. They would have been in history for the wrong reasons. This is how bad Jets fans are taking the win in currently on the outside looking at the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. So one guy tweeted this after the Jets game. I tested positive for COVID this morning. I'm fine, he writes in parentheses, thank goodness. And that isn't even the closest, and that isn't even close to the worst thing that happened to me today. Only the Jets could pull off such a feat. So one of my guys tests positive for COVID, and that is not even the worst news of the day because he watched the Jets win. They beat the Rams 23-20, now 1-13 on the year. So as you can see, Jets fans are not taking the news well. But Jets fans, I have some good news for you. All is not lost. The future isn't ruined by not drafting Trevor Lawrence. The future is not ruined because here's why. Let's be honest here. Whether you had the number one pick or not, your future wasn't going to be about Trevor Lawrence saving this franchise by himself anyway. The answer to turning the team around, to turning the franchise around, being a playoff contender, and hopefully for a Jets fan, being a Super Bowl contender, wasn't contingent on just the fact that you draft Trevor Lawrence. That would have been a great start. Don't get me wrong. I'm not diminishing Trevor Lawrence's talent. I'm not diminishing the impact he could have on this Jets team. But it's bigger than just Trevor Lawrence. You're going to need a lot more good players and pieces outside of the quarterback if you want to have a chance to compete and be successful. So sure, Trevor Lawrence would have been a great start. But if you're Joe Douglas, the Jets general manager, if you failed to surround your quarterback with talent, guess what? It doesn't matter who is under center. It doesn't matter if it's Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. They are going to struggle. So if they find a competent head coach, if they draft and sign some good receivers, if they build a solid offensive line, establish a running game, good news. No matter if it's Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or even if you hold on to Sam Darnold, whatever quarterback they have will have success because the team around them is good. Great quarterbacks can make a good team great. Great quarterbacks with a terrible team aren't elevating this team. They're not on their own turning this team around. So it was never about Trevor Lawrence himself saving the franchise. It was what you put around the quarterback, which Jets fans hoped was Trevor Lawrence, that would really determine how successful they are. So sure, right now, you're currently on the outside looking in, you have the number 2 overall pick, whether it's Zach Wilson or it's Justin Fields. Your future isn't ruined because if you put good players around those quarterbacks, your team will be good. If you don't, if Joe Douglas swings and misses in free agency, swings and misses in the draft, guess what? It won't matter who you draft, Trevor Lawrence or not, because that quarterback will struggle. Look at the Jets, where they rank offensively and defensively. Look at whoever comes in next year, right? Whoever the quarterback is, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, or the miracle happens, you hold on to Sam Darnold. Right now, the Jets, in offense, are last in the NFL in total offense, last in the NFL in yards per game on offense, last in the NFL in passing yards per game, and last in the NFL in points per game scored. Defensively, it's not much better. Jets have the 3rd worst total defense. They're allowing the 2nd most points per game on defense, and they have the 2nd worst pass defense in all the NFL. I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence alone is not turning this team around. This team is dead last in so many offensive categories, near the bottom in so many defensive categories. Last time I checked, Trevor Lawrence isn't snapping himself the ball. He is not taking the handoff. He is not catching the pass. He is not tackling guys on defense. He is not covering the number 1 wide receiver. This entire roster needs an upgrade. So sure, Trevor Lawrence would have been a good start for sure. But just because you can draft Trevor Lawrence doesn't mean now your future is ruined. Doesn't mean you can't have success. Because if you could successfully build a roster that is competitive, that is competent, that is good, no matter who's under center, you're going to have a chance. You're going to be successful and win games. Personally, look, I'm slightly biased because I am a Sam Darnold fan. I am high in him. I think he has a lot of talent. But he was given 0 chance to succeed. I think he's a lot better than what he's been playing as. But he's been bad. But he's been given no chance to succeed. The roster around him has gotten worse through the 3 years in New York. So the only way we're going to know truly how good Sam Darnold is if he goes to another team and has success. He goes to a competent team, like the Colts, like maybe the Broncos, like the Saints. A lot of teams that have good rosters offensively are going to be in need of a quarterback this offseason. So wherever Sam Darnold goes, we'll see truly how good he is. But the fact can't remain. He was not given any chance to succeed because his offensive line stunk. You're handing the ball off to an ageless guy in Frank Gore. Frank Gore shouldn't be in the NFL. He's a great story. He's a lifer. His longevity should be in the Hall of Fame alone, just because he's able to play so many games from the running back position. He's also a fossil. If you want to win games, if you have a young quarterback or you're trying to compete with, you can't be handing the ball off to Frank Gore. You lost Robbie Anderson, the number one wide receiver. He is gone. The roster is worse. Le'Veon Bell. Say what you want about Le'Veon Bell. He had talent. That's gone. The offensive line, struggling to get worse. So guess what? Trevor Lawrence is a better prospect than Sam Darnold for sure. I'm not saying Sam Darnold is more talented than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a better prospect. But guess what? Unless he's Jesus Christ, unless he is turning water into wine, if this roster doesn't improve, he's not going to be successful. Every single layer of the offense specifically needs an upgrade. Offensive line, arguably at least 3, maybe 4 of those positions outside of Mekhi Becton could be upgraded. Wide receiver, we'll see how Mims is playing when he's healthy. He's flashed at times. But other than that, this wide receiving core needs a lot of upgrades. The running back position, Frank Gore, enough said. Every single position on this offense needs an upgrade in the worst way possible. So if that doesn't happen, I'm sorry, Trevor Lawrence is not going to be good here. We're going to be having this same conversation that we're having about Sam Darnold, about Trevor Lawrence in 3 years. Call me crazy, we are. Because guess what? You don't build a competitive team. You don't find a franchise quarterback with 0 weapons around him and expect him to succeed. Let's say quickly how other competitive teams got their franchise quarterback. Chiefs, they traded up to draft Patrick Mahomes. Texans, in that same draft, did the same exact thing. Traded up to get Deshaun Watson. Packers, as we know with Aaron Rodgers, drafted him late in the first round. He was fallen. They still had Brett Favre there. Ravens, when they got Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP, they traded back into the first round to get Lamar Jackson. Now, for the Packers, the Texans, and the Chiefs, all 3 of those teams made the playoffs the year before. The Ravens went 9-7 in 2017. Why do I bring that up? Because these teams that have franchise quarterbacks, that have some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, that teams like the Jets are craving to have, they all drafted these young quarterbacks and put them in positions to succeed. They had weapons to throw the ball to. They had an offensive line that could protect them. They had a competent defense that got some stops, that didn't put them in holes, didn't give them horrible field position. And these young quarterbacks, with their talent, took the pieces around them and made them better. They elevated them, but at the same time, their play was elevated because they are playing with good players. So again, it doesn't matter if you have Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, or Sam Darnold under center if you're the Jets moving forward. If you don't surround this young quarterback with talent, don't give him a chance to succeed, it doesn't matter who they end up drafting. They won't have success. So sure, you can make the argument that maybe the ceiling for the Jets is a little lower if they hold on to Sam Darnold, if they draft Justin Fields or they draft Zach Wilson at number 2 compared to what they could have with Trevor Lawrence at number 1. But what will truly determine the success of the Jets going forward is how Joe Douglas builds this team. If he has success in hitting on draft picks, in signing some savvy free agents, guess what? The Jets will have success. No matter what quarterback you draft, you will have success. You will turn this franchise around. And I'm going to even put the head coach on it if he hires a competent head coach as well. But if he fails, if he hires the wrong head coach, if he can't figure out how to protect the quarterback on the offensive line, if he can't find good receivers that either stay healthy or make the quarterback better, if you can't find a running game that could take some pressure off your young quarterback's shoulders, you're not succeeding no matter who is there, Trevor Lawrence or not. So Jets fans, I understand it's a miserable morning. Your team did the one thing you did not want them to do, was win a game. You are currently right now on the outside looking in on the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. But here's why hope is not lost. Again, Trevor Lawrence would have been a great start to turn this team around. But he was not the final piece. He was not the reason. He was not the only sole reason where this team would be competent and successful again. So building a team. We hear the cliche all the time. It's honestly tiresome, but it's applicable here. Football is a team sport. We think, and a lot of fans think, because the quarterback position is so important, that if you draft a quarterback, no matter how bad the rest of the team is, you'll have a chance. Guess what? That is not true. Look at the Texans and Deshawn Watson. Deshawn Watson is playing like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Honestly, he really is. Look at his numbers. Look at his play. But the Texans are going to miss the playoffs, and they're going to finish under 500 because the rest of the team stinks. Deshaun Watson can only lift up these scrubs so much before they still lose games. So, yeah, talent around the quarterback matters just as much as the quarterback talent itself. So, sure, a lot of Jets fans will be upset this morning, be cursing out the Jets, cursing out Sam Darnold, cursing out Frank Gore. But guess what? Your future is not ruined. If Joe Douglas is the good general manager that you think he is, because a lot of Jets fans believe that, you're still in good hands. Your future is not ruined. So I'm curious, Jets fans, if you're listening, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I'm trying to give you some hope. I'm trying to give you a reason to be positive, look optimistically at the future, despite the fact that maybe you won't get Trevor Lawrence. The future is not ruined. The future is not ruined. So I'm curious, do you agree? Do you disagree? And if you want to just vent, we are here for that as well. We are here to get your sorrows out. If you're like my guy, Mike, who was diagnosed with COVID yesterday, and still the Jets losing was worse than that, we're here for you to try to make you better. So comment again on Facebook, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Twitter, WWSR_radio. At Ryan Hickey Show, also on Twitter. If you want to get on the show, tweet me. Maybe we can try to get you on if you want to call in and just vent your frustrations. We'll get all the Jets' thoughts as they cope with winning. I keep saying losing. Let me tweet this yesterday. I'm checking in on Jets fans after the loss. How Jets fans are interacting yesterday, you would think they lost the game, not won. So we'll take your thoughts next. It is the Ryan Hickey Show right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Do current market conditions have you nervous? Our experienced team of financial professionals at Heritage Harbor Financial Associates understands that no two investors are alike. We all have different goals, needs, and appetites for risk. That's why the one-size-fits-all approach does not work, especially when planning for retirement. At Heritage Harbor Financial Associates, we analyze your unique investment style so that you can work toward your individual retirement goals on your terms. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates can help you take steps to reach your retirement goals by providing a wide array of financial products to fit your needs, even for the risk adverse. Give us a call at 631-331-6599 to learn more or to set up an appointment with one of our financial professionals. You can also find us on the web at hhfa.org or on Facebook at facebook.com/hhfa.org. Our number again is 631-331-6599. That's 631-331-6599. Investments in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds and variable annuities are not FDIC insured and are subject to fluctuation in value and market risk, including loss of principal. Heritage Harbor Financial Associates offers securities through AXA Advisors, LLC, New York, New York. Member FINRA, SIPC. Annuity and insurance products offered through AXA Network, LLC.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit them online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome back to the Ryan Hickey Show, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Welcome back into the Ryan Hickey Show, right here on the Worldwide Sports Network. We're going to 11 a.m. Eastern. Still have to talk about Carson Wentz. Is his days in Philadelphia over? We'll discuss that in just a quick second here. Before we get to it, some great news if you're a sports fan, some awesome news if you're a Mets fan. Today, Woodside Nursery in Medford, so if you're local to Long Island, this is perfect for you, 6 to 8 o'clock Eastern, sponsored by the great New York Sports Team. You can go meet Dwight Gooden, free for kids. Meet Doc, the great New York Mets pitcher. Proceeds go to Make-A-Wish Foundation, so you're helping a great cause. You're meeting a legendary Met. Dwight Gooden, again, that's 6 to 8 o'clock tonight. Woodside Nursery Medford, sponsored by the incredible folks at New York Sports Team. We'll read that again before we get out of here, but very cool opportunity to meet Dwight Gooden, help a charity, Make-A-Wish Foundation. Again, tonight, 6 to 8 o'clock, Woodside Nursery in Medford meets the incredibly good Doc Gooden. So like I said, 10:20, as we do always every single Monday after the NFL season. Quick hits. We'll go around the league, hit on all the games we haven't hit on so far. 2 Saturday games, which was very cool. Buffalo 48, Denver 19. Josh Allen, I'll be honest, is really starting to prove me wrong. He's making great decisions. This offense right now is almost impossible to defend. Saturday, he threw for 359 yards, 4 touchdowns. I'm probably the last person on the Josh Allen train because honestly, I still can't fully trust him in a big spot to make the right decisions and not turn the ball over. Now, I will admit, in the first half of the Steelers game, I still had my concerns, and he, again, gave me a lot of reason to doubt. But the second half, he turned it around, played really well, carried that over into this Denver game. He's slowly proved me wrong. Again, I'm still not there to jump fully on the Josh Allen bandwagon. As you heard earlier in the show, we talked about the AFC playoffs landscape and who is the biggest threat to the Chiefs. I said no team. You can't pick a team because I don't trust any team outside the Chiefs to meet them in the AFC title game, including the Bills. I think the way the AFC is shaping this year, it's a very deep conference. And I am concerned truly that the Bills can play 1 or 2 games in a row and Josh Allen can play perfect football in a big spot. But he's proven me wrong. Great game, great win in Denver. The night game, Green Bay 24, Carolina 19. The Packers played basically as bad as they could have at home and still won the game. Rodgers just threw for 143 yards. They totaled just 49 yards in the second half. But with that said, I still think this is more of a one-off. I think still the Packers will get on the right page. And there's a team still, I think that if they get home field in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, if they get that number 1 seed, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not taking much out of that game outside of just being a one-off. But, they host the Titans this week on Sunday Night Football. That'd be a great test to see maybe, hey, are these problems there? Or is this just one bad game? Every team is allowed to have those. They still won the game, which is more impressive. We'll go to Sunday's action. Colts 27, Houston 20. First of all, whatever good karma, whatever good juju the Colts have when it comes to playing the Texans, keep it coming. A few weeks ago, Colts were up by 6, but the Texans had the ball. I think it was 2nd and goal, about to score with under 30 seconds left. Deshawn Watson fumbles the snap. The Colts recover. They win the game. This week, it happened once. Okay, that's incredible. Yesterday, Colts up by a touchdown. Watson again driving down the field. Throws a pass to Kiki QT. Again, under a minute to go. Breaks tackles at the 1-yard line. Darius Leonard punches the ball out. Colts recover in the end zone. Touchback, game over. Now, I want to use this to kind of highlight Deshaun Watson. I just told you before, he's playing one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and his team stinks. He threw for 373 yards, 2 touchdowns. He got sacked like 5 times. Offensive line can't do anything to protect him. But he's like a Houdini back there. He breaks tackles, he keeps plays alive with his feet, and he keeps the offense going. It's honestly, the Texans, for how bad they are, I couldn't even imagine where they would be if not for Deshaun Watson. They could be in Jets territory. Winless. I'm dead serious. The way he's elevated this team and kept them going, it's a miracle. If you get this guy any sort of weapons, any sort of protection, the rest of the league is in big trouble with the Colts to hold on to win. Baltimore 40, Jacksonville 14. Ravens are hitting up at the right time. Don't look now. Winners of 3 in a row. Lamar Jackson's playing really good football. 4 total touchdowns yesterday. He has 10 total touchdowns during this 3-game winning streak. Like I mentioned earlier, we're talking about the AFC landscape. The Ravens are averaging 40.3 points per game during this 3-game winning streak. I think they will get in eventually because right now they're on the 8th seed. I think they will get into the playoffs. I think they'll surpass the Dolphins because Dolphins have a brutal stretch here. Schedule-wise, at least one more game. Play the Jets. Jets are hot, I guess. But they do play the Bills on the road this week, which is just a brutal matchup for them. So they lose out and Baltimore wins out. The Ravens will be in the playoffs, and that is, if you're the Bills, if they get that number 2 seed, if you're the Steelers that get that number 2 seed, you do not want to see the Ravens on the first week in the playoffs. They are playing some great football right now. I wrote them off, honestly. I thought they were done once they lost that Titans game. They've proved me wrong. They've really turned it around. They're playing some of their best football right now. Look out. Here come the Ravens. Miami, 22. Patriots, 12. If you're fans of a team in the AFC East, if you're just really football fans in general, sick and tired of the Patriots dynasty, you want to see them struggle, you want to see Bill Belichick struggle. Well, some history was made in a few different ways yesterday. With that loss, the Patriots officially eliminated from the playoffs for the first time since 2008. So dance on the grave of New England, celebrated also in that win yesterday, Tua Tagovailoa, the first rookie quarterback to beat Bill Belichick since the great Geno Smith back in 2013. That's a hell of a stat. But I'll say this. I'm happy. Look, I like to see the Patriots struggle. Like I said, they've had 2 decades worth of success. Nice to see them come back to earth, come back to us regular football fans who really have seen our team struggle and play well, but not consistently for 20 years. I'll say this. Enjoy it this year. Because right now the Patriots, looking at 2021, 3rd most cap space available, 11 total draft picks. Now, Belichick has struggled of late in the draft. He hits on some of these draft picks. He has a ton of cap space to sign whoever he wants. Patriots could turn this around and turn it around quick. So dance on their grave now, because there's a chance this turns around. And we won't be celebrating much longer because they'll be back in the playoffs. Tennessee 46, Detroit 25. Simple as this. If you can't stop Derrick Henry, you don't have a chance. Henry, 147 rushing yards, a touchdown. Ryan Tannehill then coupled that with 273 yards and 3 touchdowns. Excuse me. The Titans go as Derrick Henry goes. If you stop him, if you slow him down, they'll be playing from behind it and struggle offensively. If you don't stop him, he's ripping off 100-yard games like he has been. Good luck. Dallas 41, San Francisco 33. Now I'll say this. 49ers lose again. It's nice to see them continue to fight and play hard. They have been depleted more than any other team with just massive injuries to some key guys. Nick Bosa, Jimmy Garoppolo, George Kittle. I can go on and on and on. But they're still playing hard. They're still putting up a fight. Credit to Kyle Shanahan for having this team. Again, despite if I give Nick Mullins quarterbacking your team and C.J. Beathard at some point, they're still playing team stuff. And don't look now. I still think Washington's going to win the NFC East. But Dallas just 1 game out of first place. Not dead yet are the Cowboys. Speaking of dead, Bears 33, Vikings 27. Neither of these teams are making the playoffs. Both have an outside shot at making the playoffs. But Kirk Cousins, this is a game where he continues to steal money from Minnesota. The stats are so deceiving. It's honestly infuriating. Because you look at the box score, if you don't watch this game or you watch highlights or whatever, just looking back for reference, you see Kirk Cousins went 24 of 35 for 271 yards and 2 touchdowns. Okay, pretty good game, right? Only 11 incompletions, almost 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He is not nearly playing anywhere close to what the numbers are indicating. This offense is struggling. They are not scoring as much as they should be. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook. These are incredibly good weapons. They should be a more potent offense. Kirk Cousins missing guys, not taking deep shots, not converting touchdowns in the red zone. He is stealing money, and Minnesota, you get to do this for another 2 years. Yikes. My apologies. Speaking of apologies, Falcons fans, I should say, deserve a lot of apologies. Or I guess I shouldn't say apologies. They deserve a lot of condolences. That's what I should say. They deserve a lot of condolences. Another game, as they lose to the Buccaneers 31-27. Would it shock you to say that Atlanta blew a large lead No way, where have I seen this movie before? 17-0 halftime lead. Third quarter, they're up 24-7. Up by 17 at 2 different points in the game. No way that they could lose this. No way you're shutting out the Buccaneers in the first half and allow 31 points in the second half. No shot. No way that's going to happen. But what happens? Falcons are going to Falcon. And they lose this game. They blew 2 17-point leads as Tampa Bay, again, scores 31 second-half points, and they win this game. Now, I wonder, because I don't want to get too crazy, but I think these last few games will maybe determine if this second half was real or just fraudulent because they played the Falcons. Buccaneers had just 60 total yards of offense in the first half. In the second half, again, 31 points. Tom Brady had a total of 390 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. So either this is the beginning of the Buccaneers figuring it out. Whatever happened in the locker room at halftime, something came together. Antonio Brown scored his first touchdown. Tom Brady, again, almost over 400 yards. Either this is the beginning of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting their playoff offense ready to roll, or this is just an anomaly. They play the Falcons. The Falcons are so bad defensively they can make any team look good. And it's just a chance of Falcons coughing up another lead in classic Atlanta fashion. And we'll be sitting here wildcard weekend or heading to the playoffs with our serious doubts about the Bucs offense because they can't get it together. Speaking of bad offense, Seattle 20, Washington 15. Another ugly game from Seattle. Now, it's a win, but it's ugly. If you take out the Jets game, because it's the Jets, when they won 40-3, the last 3 games this team has played, they're averaging 18.3 points per game. A team that was led by Russell Wilson, who had the most potent, high-scoring offense for the first half of the season, is now suddenly coming back down to earth. And I wonder if this is, again, Russell Wilson trying to do too much. This is Russell Wilson overcompensating for a bad defense, for a running game that isn't really too consistent. But I wonder, as we head into the playoffs, if Seattle will be able to flip the switch, because you have Russell Wilson, you have Tyler Lockett, you have DK Metcalf, you have Chris Carson. This should be a very potent offense. I said this, I think this is the one team that could really give the Packers a run for their money if the Packers have home field advantage in Lambeau. Right now, that offense is not playing like it. It's not. We'll see what happens in the last few games here as we head to the playoffs. But an ugly game, but hey, it's a win for Seattle. And finally, we'll end with a Sunday night game. Giants 6. I don't know why I did that, but Cleveland 20, the Giants 6. This is just a simple case of the Browns taking care of business. Beating a lesser team, not even giving the Giants a chance to breathe. Freddie Kitchens calling plays. Colt McCoy's at quarterback. This is a game good teams win and handle. Browns did that. And how about Kevin Stefanski? First year as Browns head coach, he leads them to a 10-win season. Only the 3rd time since 1990, so before I was even born. The Browns have a 10-win season. 3rd time in 30 years. And Kevin Stefanski did in his first shot. Safe to say, the Browns got that hire right. They are trending in the right direction, not just this year, but for sustained success in the future. So, like I said, when we come back, I'd love to hear any of your Week 15 takeaways. What was your biggest takeaway from Week 15 in the NFL? When we come back, Carson Wentz, his future in Philadelphia. Did he already take the final snaps in Philly? And again, just as a reminder, today, if you're a Mets fan, if you're a Dwight Gooden fan, great news, a great opportunity for you. Today, again, Woodside Nursery in Medford, 6 to 8 o'clock at night. Sponsored by the incredible folks in New York Sports, and you can go and meet Dwight Gooden. Free for kids. The cost benefits Make-A-Wish Foundation, so you're helping out charity. You either, if you're a fan of Dwight Gooden, get to meet an idol. If your children like Dwight Gooden, they can meet him for free. It's an awesome opportunity for you to meet a legend in Dwight Gooden. Again, today, 6 to 8 o'clock, Woodside Nursery in Medford, sponsored by the great folks at New York Sports. So we'll get Carson Wentz a feature in Philadelphia when the Ryan Hickey Show returns right here on the Worldwide Sports Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Edward Lehman has been a trusted insurance advisor for over 16 years with insurance solutions for auto, home, commercial, life, and retirement. He's located at 54 Sunnyside Boulevard, Suite H in Plainview. That's just 1,000 feet south of 495. Local agent, local advice. The time to think about insurance is before you need it. So do yourself a favor, and before you pay your next insurance bill, give Ed and his team a call, 516-935-3900, or visit him online at www.allstate.com/EL. Edward H. Lehman Insurance is your trusted insurance advisor.
Be fearless at MMA Long Island and Seituha Karate. Located at 28 Colt Court in Ronkonkoma, MMA Long Island is the martial arts school for you if you want to learn combat-proven techniques, build confidence, discipline, and self-esteem while learning real martial arts to fight back against bullies, predators, and peer pressure. MMA Long Island offers group and private lessons for all ages and levels in traditional Goju-Ryu Karate, MMA, and self-defense. MMA Long Island is one of Long Island's most affordable martial arts schools. There are no promotion, belt, or membership fees, and family discounts are available. All classes are taught by 7th degree black belt Sensei John Benedict with over 30 years teaching experience. So whether you want to get in the ring or protect yourself and your family, MMA Long Island can help you reach your goals. Visit MMALongIsland.com. That's MMALongIsland.com, or call or text 516-381-9660. That's 516-381-9660.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Welcome back to the Ryan Hickey Show, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And welcome back into the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. As a quick reminder, tonight, again, 6 to 8 o'clock at night, at Woodside Nursery in Medford, an awesome opportunity put on by the New York sports scene folks. A chance to meet and greet the Mets legend, Yankees player as well. So Mets and Yankees fans, this is perfect for you. Dwight Gooden. Again, 6 to 8 o'clock tonight, Woodside Nursery in Medford. Free for kids, so an awesome opportunity to meet a legend, teach them about some baseball history, and as well the money goes to Make-A-Wish Foundation. So you're helping out a great cause. All right, it's Christmas time, it's the holiday season, it's about giving. So not only are you giving to a great cause and Make-A-Wish, you're also getting a chance to meet a legend, Dwight Gooden. Again, Woodside Nursery in Medford, 6 to 8 o'clock tonight. Again, sponsored by the New York sports scene. An awesome, awesome opportunity to meet Dwight Gooden, the Mets and Yankees legend himself. Woodside Nursery, Medford, 6 to 8 tonight. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. A very awesome opportunity. Like I said, very cool. Tonight, put on by the New York sports scene folks. So we're just talking about Week 15 in the NFL, getting your biggest takeaway in a wild week in which the Jets win a game they don't want to win, in which, let's see, Browns take care of business. I honestly just forget all the storylines for a second. Good thing I'm paying attention. Drew Brees returns, looks rusty. Chiefs win again. A lot of stuff happening. So again, any takeaway you have, before we get out of here in 20 minutes, it's your last shot to get in any thought on Week 15. Facebook, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, Twitter, WWSRN_radio, or on Twitter, you want to tweet me directly at Ryan Hickey Show. So I do want to get, finally here, the future of Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. Now, before any games even started yesterday, right, before the Eagles played the Cardinals, the Birds took on the Birds, before Jalen Hurts again put on an impressive performance, Adam Schefter put out a report early Sunday morning that, guess what? Carson Wentz, he does not want to be a backup in Philly. So if Jalen Hurts plays well, if the decision going forward next year is, you know what, Jalen Hurts is going to be a quarterback, we'll see how this works out. Maybe we'll go with a 2-quarterback system. Carson Wentz said, I don't want to be a part of it. He'd rather move on, go to another team if Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy. So you take that information with what you will, right? You saw the solid performance that Jalen Hurts had in the first game against the Saints last week. Now you couple that with another incredible, impressive performance by Jalen Hurts yesterday against the Cardinals. This is looking like the beginning of the end for Carson Wentz at Philly. For me, of my opinion here, I think Carson Wentz has already taken his final snaps as a Philadelphia Eagle for 2 reasons. Number one, let's call for what it is. Jalen Hurts, in his short time, but he has been playing well in the time that he's taken over as starting quarterback. Yesterday, threw over 330 yards, 4 total touchdowns. Couple that, again, going back to his first start against the Saints, threw one passing touchdown, 160 yards on the ground against New Orleans. Now, this is interesting. Again, yesterday he threw for 3 touchdowns, 4 total. You know how many games Carson Wentz had this year where he threw 3 touchdown passes in one game? 0. So already in a short time, Hurts is doing things that Carson Wentz could not do. Now, again, very short sample size, right? I'm not trying to get crazy here. We're not saying Jalen Hurts is going to be a franchise quarterback. He's going to be a great quarterback in Philly. But under center in the 2 games, Jalen Hurts, in the 2 games that he's been a quarterback, the Eagles have averaged 25 points per game. Well, before that, when Carson Wentz was under center in the 12 games, Eagles averaged 21 points per game. So 25 to 21 Hurts to Wentz when they are under center. That's how much average Eagles are scoring per game. So yes, it's been 2 games. I'm not sitting here telling you Jalen Hurts is going to be a good quarterback. I'm not even telling you Jalen Hurts could be the starting quarterback of the Eagles next year. But here's why I think that this is the beginning of the end for Carson Wentz in Philly. Because as we know, Carson Wentz and backup quarterbacks don't get along. There is history there with fans loving the backup more than the starter. We know how that dynamic between Nick Foles and Carson Wentz was. We know how Carson Wentz was affected coming back in 2018, playing the season with Nick Foles kind of over his shoulder, going out, and Nick Foles again leading an improbable playoff run, this time to the second round of the playoffs when they lost to the Saints in 2018, when Carson Wentz again missed time because of injury. And we know when it came to Wentz, when it came to Foles, the fans love Nick Foles, and there is still to this day Eagles fans that wish the Eagles kept Nick Foles over Carson Wentz. So you already know that there's a complex, there's a history here of Eagles fans wanting the backup quarterback more than they want their starter in Carson Wentz. So if Jalen Hurts plays these final 2 games, and again, we're assuming he's going to start. There's no way that they can go back at this point to Carson Wentz. With how Jalen Hurts has played, Doug Peterson might be fired if he goes back to Carson Wentz for these final 2 games. So if Jalen Hurts plays similarly to how he did these first 2 games as he does to finish out the season in the final 2 games, you know what fans are going to be doing? The recency bias of seeing Jalen Hurts play well, having this offense score points the last 4 games, remembering how bad the offense struggled in the first 12 games Carson Wentz was at quarterback, you're going to have fans calling, wanting, talking about Jalen Hurts being the guy going forward for 2021. You're going to have a situation where, whether it's an open competition at quarterback, whether Carson Wentz is named the starter, or Jalen Hurts is named the starter, but Carson Wentz is still on the roster, that is going to be a situation that does not end well for the Eagles and for Carson Wentz. Because you imagine, right? If Jalen Hurts plays well these 4 games, but they say at the end of the season, you know what? Carson Wentz is still our guy. He is still our franchise quarterback. He will be here in 2021. Well, now, any interception, any incompletion, any loss, Carson Wentz is going to be looking over his shoulder to another backup quarterback like he just did when Nick Foles was in Philly. So because of that dynamic, because of the fans' love for the backup quarterback, first Nick Foles and now Jalen Hurts, because of the way Jalen Hurts has given this offense a spark and life, sure, the sample size is going to be very, very, very small. Again, theoretically, it's going to be at most 4 games that you see Jalen Hurts as a quarterback. So I'm not here telling you that Jalen Hurts is better than Carson Wentz. He fits his offense better, and he's showing some life, some spark. Like, guess what? The noise, the rumbling is going to be loud enough to, if you're Carson Wentz and you don't want to go through another situation where the fans are pleading to play the backup quarterback, you're going to say, trade me. Get me out of here. I want to go somewhere else. So to me, it looks like the decision's already been made. Like I just said, it's impossible to go back to Wentz this season, so you're not going to see him again, barring injury. Jalen Hurts has already played well enough in this short sample size that guess what? There's going to be some sort of quarterback competition. There's going to be some sort of quarterback rumblings, or if not, if they outright say Wentz is our starter in 2021, like I just said, the fans will be clamoring anytime there's a bad pass, anytime there's a loss, anytime there's an interception. They'll be clamoring for the backup quarterback to come in, save the day, and play well. So if you're Carson Wentz, why would you want to be looking over your shoulder again? You just did it once. It affected your play. Let's call it for what it is. It affected his play. And there was some divide. There was some stories that were published in this offseason about, Carson Wentz not really being the best teammate when it comes to the dynamic between him and Nick Foles. So, yeah, I think this is the beginning of the end. Adam Schefter put the story out there that Carson Wentz does not want to be a backup. If it looks like the direction is going to be more Jalen Hurts-esque, guess what? I think he's out. That cap hit, they're going to have to figure it out. It's going to be $59 million. Sure, they could finagle that somehow in dead cap if he's traded this offseason. You got to do it quick because his 2022 salary is guaranteed early in the 2021 year. There's a lot that Philly and hurdles that Philly has to jump through in order to make this happen. So it's not going to be easy, for sure. But I think we've seen Carson Wentz, for the last time, under center as a starting quarterback in Philadelphia. And listen, the market's going to be out there. Like I just said, the Saints are going to be in the quarterback market. The Colts, the Broncos. I'm trying to think who else here. The Jets, but they'll draft a quarterback. This quarterback market, we talked about this about a month or two ago. It's going to be the biggest quarterback market we've ever seen. And not just because of quarterbacks being drafted in the draft, but because of these retreads, if you want to call them that, like guys like Sam Darnold, who are run out of town. Guys like Carson Wentz, who are run out of town. But still very young, still have talent, still have promise that if you get them with the right coach, if you get them in the right situation, they can have success. They can really change their fortunes around. So while we have seen, I believe, the last time Carson Wentz in Eagles jersey, I think his career is far from over. And listen, as a Colts fan, I love Carson Wentz. Still want Sam Darnold more. If you ever tell me, all right, Sam Darnold goes somewhere else, Carson Wentz is there, available to be traded, take him in a second. I'll take on that contract. Like, he still has a lot of talent. But again, it's one of those situations where things aren't really working in Philly. The offense is not great around him. Doesn't really fit his style of play. Have him go to a team with a good offensive line, with a good head coach that can put him in positions to succeed. We've seen Doug Peterson have more success with a mobile quarterback. The offense looks rejuvenated. It looks exciting for once. Because under Carson Wentz this year, the offense was very stale. Very stale. So, Eagles fans, if you're out there, I'm curious. Is there any hope, any reason that you can use to bring Carson Wentz back in 2021? For me, the answer is no. This story that Adam Schefter put out yesterday, coupled with the fact that, again, Jalen Hurts is playing well so far, coupled with the fact that we know already the backup quarterback dynamic between them and Carson Wentz is not good. It's icy. It's frosty. It doesn't really go well. And if you're Carson Wentz, I don't see him signing up to go back to another year in Philly, knowing the fans want Jalen Hurts to start, knowing that anytime you play bad, you're going to be looking over your shoulder, listening to every word Doug Peterson says in his press conference, seeing if you're going to be the guy or Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy. I don't think that's a tenable situation for Wentz and the Eagles. So to me, it's not up to Carson Wentz. I think the decision's already been made. I think it's one that the Eagles can't avoid. I think it's one Carson Wentz can't avoid. He will be on another team in 2021. So it's going to be interesting to see. Again, this offseason is going to be a lot of fun. You'll see where a lot of different good quarterbacks go. And again, to me, that also includes Carson Wentz. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Ryan Hickey Show. A little bit earlier, but it's kind of a busy Monday. I can't lie. I got some stuff to do. So I'll end the show a tiny bit early than normal. I apologize for that. But I do appreciate all those who tuned in, who listened. Hopefully made your Monday a little bit brighter. Again, in case you missed it early in the show, we have some great things cooking here, not only in the Worldwide Sports Network, but in life. 2020, almost over. 10 days until we can kind of turn the page. 2021 is here. Today is the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. So starting tomorrow, the days are going to get longer. The sun will be out longer. The days will be brighter. And all of a sudden, darkness isn't creeping in at 3:45, 4 o'clock, 4:15. We will start to get our lives back, hopefully, on a routine where, again, that's not kind of always surrounded by the darkness. But things are coming here in 2020. It's looking positive. And we hope you at least join us on the Worldwide Sports Network in 2021 as well. How you can do that? Very easy. Follow us on Twitter, Worldwide Sports Network. Our Twitter handle, WWSRN_radio. Like us on Facebook, Worldwide Sports Network. Follow us on Twitch, Worldwide Sports Network. YouTube, Worldwide Sports Network. Very easy. And the app. The app is the absolute perfect and easiest way to stay up to date and in tune with everything going on in the Worldwide Sports Network. WWSRN on iOS, Worldwide Sports Network on Android. That's it. Download the app. You will be in tune. You will get every show live, audio or video. So if you want to just listen, not watch, if you want to watch and listen at the same time, boom, there's video, boom, there's audio. Read every article posted to the website and get an alert anytime a show goes live. We have awesome fantasy football shows if you're a fantasy football player. Playoffs are here. It's championship week. You got to know who to start, who to sit, how to make your lineup the best possible to try to win a championship. We have that answer. We have, it happened yesterday, so I apologize for the late marketing, belated. We have an awesome Jets show, reacting to the first Jets, where you can go either on YouTube, rewatch it, Facebook, scroll down, you can rewatch it, Twitter, scroll down and rewatch it. We have awesome shows up and down the lineup, Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday as well. So very easy to follow. Again, WWSR_radio on Twitter, Worldwide Sports Radio Network on Facebook, Twitch, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, YouTube, Worldwide Sports Radio Network, or again, the easiest way to do so, download the app WWSRN on iOS, Worldwide Sports Radio Network on Android. So that's going to do it for the Ryan Hickey Show. Really appreciate all of you who tuned in on this Monday morning. Hopefully make your Monday a little bit brighter. We will be here on Christmas Eve. So we will be back in studio. We're still doing Hickey's Pickies. We'll kind of get you primed for Week 16 in the NFL, get you in the Christmas spirit, some Christmas-themed music, some Christmas-themed segments. It's going to be a holiday Christmas edition of the Ryan Hickey Show on Thursday, but we will be here, Christmas Eve edition, 9 a.m. as we always do on the Worldwide Sports Network. So again, thank you for all who tuned in and listened on this Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay safe. Stay sane. If you're not listening on Thursday, I wish you now have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We'll talk to you on Thursday right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.